Hey everyone, welcome, come on in. My name's Rudy Troja, host of Real Talk Rudy. This is going to be my forum to just discuss topics, things that I'm interested in, hopefully provide some insight. Um, Things you can expect to be talking about culture, news, technology, science, career development, the future of work, mindset, personal wellness. All the big topics that I'm interested in. I know it's a pretty broad range. I got a couple of friends who basically told me that they thought I had some interesting insights, some cool perspectives on things. So I'm hoping I can bring that here and provide some cool content for you. As far as what you're not going to probably hear, this isn't a political podcast. I thought about it. My degree is actually in political science. I read a lot of news, stay pretty well informed. But honestly, there's other people who do that better, and beyond that, I'm kind of just exhausted by the topic, given how pervasive it is and how loud it is, and frankly, there's just so many more interesting things going on that I think deserve more attention right now. So if that's what you're looking for, this isn't going to be an overtly political podcast. I'm sure it's going to come up from time to time. It's, as I mentioned, it is so pervasive. It'll probably show up occasionally, but it's not the focus of this podcast. One of the things that I do intend to do occasionally, and I'm going to start off my channel doing one of these shortly, is book reviews. I really made a pledge to myself to read more this year, and I've actually followed through, which is cool. It's a happy New Year's resolution that comes true. And I think it's something that I plan to do a couple episodes on from now, but I just finished this book actually, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. I wanted to make sure I review it while it's still fresh in my mind. So it was written in 2013 by Scott Adams. For those of you who don't know, Scott Adams is the creator of Dilbert, which is a genius comic strip. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. It riffs on all the absurdities of corporate and office life. It's been around for quite a while and is wildly successful. So this is a little bit different. You could consider it in the self-help genre. I really think it's quite more than that, though. He takes pains to lay out his strategy for career development. Prior to being a famous cartoonist, he actually had a number of other careers and ventures, including a stint in corporate life. I'm sure that's where he picked up a lot of his material from for his comic strip. But he basically lays out his strategy and advice for how you go about, being successful in your career. And it's got a very personal tone, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of personal information from him, which is cool because it feels way less preachy that way when you know that the person's actually gone through it themselves and they've actually employed all the strategies that they're talking about because that's how they learn them. It's broken up into a whole bunch of different chapters. Some of them are almost hilariously short, but it kind of keeps in line with the humorous tone of much of the book, which deals a little bit in absurdities just like his comic strip does. So it's definitely not a dry read. It's quite funny at times. A couple of key concepts I wanted to call out that I found really interesting. He talks about the concept of creating a skill stack, which is something I've subconsciously kind of been doing, I guess, for my whole professional life. I just didn't really know it exactly. I didn't know what to call it. But if you think about how you could develop your career and be successful, there's kind of one of two ways that you could do it. You could take one skill and master it, right? Just become a guru, devote years and years to becoming the best or one of the best at it. And assuming that skill has market value, you're pretty much going to be fine. The other way that you could do it, the opposite way, is less depth but way more breadth. And so you try to acquire interlocking, synergistic skills that on their own have value, but when you add them together, the sum is more than just each part put together. So great examples that he gives are things like public speaking, accounting, a couple other ones that he has in there. But basically, if you can put together a whole bunch of skills, you don't have to be the best at them, but when you combine them, they create this this cool effect, and you can get a lot of value out of it. In my own life, in my own professional life, I started in customer service. From there, I moved on to a finance job doing securities valuations. I've done accounting. Now I work in data analytics and consulting. So each step of the way, I've kind of added different different skill sets at each job, and sometimes within different jobs at the same company even. And so that's been kind of my subconscious strategy, I guess. I can't really say that I planned it out the whole way, but reading this book actually kind of crystallizes what I've done and puts it in a more formalized structure, which helps me, try to continue that. But I also think would help anybody who reads the book. Another key concept that he talks about is luck. And this is something that it's a realization that I've had, and I think everyone should kind of wake up to at some point, which is, and it's a difficult one to think about, which is so much of our success has to do with luck. And you can even take that all the way back to the idea of even just being born in this country, born in this time of fantastic opportunities. We have the internet, so many different ways to get yourself out there. In my particular case, being born to a stable 2-parent household that was supportive of my education. So there's all these different ways that luck plays a role. You certainly can't control how you're just thrown into the world, so to speak. And then even once you're there, the things that come your way, you don't always have much control over that. And I think if you were to ask some of the most successful people in industry, the Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musks of the world, they'd probably tell you the same thing. And in fact, many of their stories are like dependent on some lucky breaker opportunity happening. So one of the things that Scott Adams talks about in his book is how you prepare yourself to take advantage of luck when it comes your way. Because presumably, I guess unless you're just an incredibly unlucky person, there will be opportunities that come your way. And it's important to maximize your preparation and to have the best chance of being able to take advantage of that opportunity when you eventually come across it. So he talks about his strategy for doing that. I've had it happen to me in my own professional life. I've had lucky breaks happen. I've had people take a chance on me. I've had higher up leaders invest in my opportunity because they saw something. But who knows? You don't know when someone's going to do that. You don't know what doors could be open. So it's important to take steps to to be prepared for that. So among many other things, those are just a couple of the key reasons why I think this is a great book. I do highly recommend it. Read it, check it out, and let me know what you think. Otherwise, in the meantime, stay tuned for many more episodes to come on this podcast. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. The YouTube algorithm will thank you for it. Thanks.